Hey YouTube, this is the Puente Hills Mall in Puente Hills, California. Today I'm going to be talking about the Puente Hills Mall murders.
In the summer of 1991, there were 8 total robbery victims, 5 which were murdered, 2 which were women taken from the Puente Hills Mall. There were 4 accomplices, 1 sent to death row, 3 sent to life without parole. These victims were chosen at random, either for their car stereo, or because they looked like they had money and the assailants took them to ATMs to get their cash and or belongings that they had on them.
There was a total of 8 victims, 5 of which were murdered. And one of those murder victims I have a close relation to. It was my great aunt, Shirley. She was murdered in 1991. This mall was also featured in Back to the Future. But I'm going to be talking about the Puente Hills Mall murders today. There was 4 accomplices: John Irving Lewis, who was the ringmaster of the group. He was 23 years old when he was arrested. His girlfriend, Eileen Huber, his stepsister, and his stepsister's boyfriend were all tried for the 5 murders. John Irving Lewis was sentenced to death in 1992. He's currently in San Quentin as of this recording in June of 2024, still awaiting death. I believe California has put a pause on the death penalty. The 3 accomplices, his girlfriend Eileen, his sister, and his sister's boyfriend, are all serving life without parole. A not so funny story is our across the street neighbor. About a year later, my family and myself had moved to a new city. We actually relocated a couple cities away. Our across the street neighbor was an LA County police deputy, and he worked in the jails, and on his caseload was John Irving Lewis. And once he found out that we were intertwined with Shirley being related to us, and she was one of John's victims, his superiors actually moved him to overwatch O.J. Simpson, because during that time in 1994 is when O.J. Simpson was arrested for the murderings of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman.
Now, John was asked why the burglars and the murders, and his simple answer was to get back at society. Now, like I said before, there were 8 total victims, 5 of which were murdered. Jose Avina, 22 years old, Willie Sams, 40 years old, Augustine Ramirez, 53 years old, Elizabeth Nesbitt, 49 years old, who was also taken from the mall, and lastly, Shirley Denogian, who was 56.
Now, growing up, I was 4.5 years old when she was murdered, but in my teen years, I started asking my dad more questions about the murder. They state that the attackers asked Shirley to get down on her knees, but she refused because she was afraid that they were going to have her do something sexual. She asked them just to shoot her if that's what their ultimate goal was. So on the side of the 60 freeway, she was shot 3 times and was murdered right there at the age of 56 on the side of the freeway. They actually had her get out of the car, walk down the siding into some bushes, and that's where she was murdered. Right behind me is the 60 freeway going west towards downtown Los Angeles. I'm in El Monte right now. The Rio Hondo River is behind me a little bit. Didn't feel safe to stop on the side of the freeway, but you can see this embankment here. This is much like where John would have pulled off to the side of the 60 freeway, had Shirley walked down the embankment into some bushes, and shot and killed her. You can hear the traffic behind me. But he would have walked her down the side of the embankment into some bushes and shot and killed her 3 times. She was 56 years old. front of my great aunt Shirley. I haven't been here since 1991. I haven't been to this gravesite, at least. My mother's sister was laid to rest here a few years ago, but I haven't been to this gravesite since 1991, when my great aunt Shirley, my dad's aunt, was murdered and laid to rest. It's here in the Veil of Faith. It says Shirley A. Denogian in loving memory, October 26, 1934 to August 27th, 1991. Go, I am with you always, it says. And it looks like Jesus here on her headstone. I do remember the funeral. I was just under 5 years old, but I do remember the funeral since it was such a high profile case. Along these walls here in the Veil of Faith at Forest Lawn, West Covina, those walls over here, far away, and over here, there were reporters, cameramen. During the service, you could hear them taking a bunch of photos, video of the service. From what I've heard, she was a great woman. She loved her family. She'd been married for about 5 years to her latest husband. She's missed by everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video. If you like this, please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram, as seen by Dave. Peace out.